Simplifying exponent expressions. We have three basic rules for combining exponents. 1. X raised to the power of n times x raised to the power of m is equal to x raised to the power of n plus m. So meaning just add the exponents when you are multiplying terms with has an exponents. 2. X raised to the power of n divided by x raised to the power of m is equal to x raised to the power of n minus m. So subtract the exponents when you are dividing terms with has an exponents. 3. X raised to the power of n and also raised to the power of m is equal to x raised to the power n times m. So meaning if we have x square raised to the power of 3, all we need to do just multiply 2 times 3. However, when simplifying expressions containing exponents, don't feel like you must work only with, or straight from, these rules. It is often simpler to work directly from the meaning of exponents. Simplify. X raised to the power of 6 times x raised to the power of 5. The rules tell us to add the exponents, but when we started algebra, we had trouble keeping the rules straight, so we just thought about what exponents mean. The x raised to the power of 6 means 6 copies of a multiplied together, and the x raised to the power of 5 means 5 copies of x multiplied together. X raised to the power of 6 times x raised to the power of 5. The x raised to the power of 6, this means that there are 6 x's. In order to simplify this, just write 6 x's under the x raised to the power of 6, and then x raised to the power of 5, so meaning there are 5 x's, and write this so that it's easy to simplify. And now add the x's. Have you noticed there are 11 x's, so that's why we have x raised to the power of 11. Thus, x raised to the power of 6 times x raised to the power of 5 is equal to x raised to the power of 11. Another method to simplify this expressions. Just add the two exponents, which is 6 plus 5, is equal to 11, so that we have the answer of x raised to the power of 11. Therefore x raised to the power of 6 times x raised to the power of 5 is equal to x raised to the power of 11. Have you noticed they have the same answer, so meaning you can use both of this method in order to simplify. N raised to the power of 7 times n, this means that there are 7 n's. In order to simplify this, just write 7 n's under the n raised to the power of 7, and write also n because we have another n, and then simplify. Have you noticed that there are 8 n's, so that's why we have n raised to the power of 8. Thus, n raised to the power of 7 times n raised to the power of 1 is equal to n raised to the power of 8. Another method to simplify this expressions. Just add the two exponents, which is 7 plus 1 is equal to 8. So the answer of this expressions is n raised to the power of 8. Therefore n raised to the power of 7 times n is equal to n raised to the power of 8. Have you noticed they have the same answer, so meaning you can use both of this method in order to simplify. Simplify. 6 raised to the power of 8 divided by 6 raised to the power of 5. The exponent rules tell us to subtract the exponents. But let's suppose that we forgot the rules. The 6 raised to the power of 8. It means we have 8 copies of 6 on top. The 6 raised to the power of 5. It means we have 5 copies of 6 underneath. And then simplify, we need to cancel. Those has the same figures. We notice there are 5 6's are the same with the denominator. So now cancelled it out, so that the 3 6's remain on top. It is because there are only 5 6's underneath. And then simplify 3 6's the same with 6 cubed, since our denominator is 1. So the answer is 6 raised to the power of 3. So now we can use the rules in dividing exponent. In this expression they have the same base, which is 6, so we can easily subtract 8 and 5 is equal to 3. That's why our answer is 6 raised to the power of 3. In this expression, x raised to the power of 5 divided by x raised to the power of 3, so just write 5 x's on top and 3 x's underneath, and then cancel the 3 x's on top and the bottom. The 2 x's remain top, over 1. So our final answer is x squared. Another method by using the rules of exponent. Since they have the same base, which is x, so we can directly subtract the exponent. 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. So our final answer is x squared. Note: unless the instructions also tell you to evaluate, you're probably expected to leave numerical exponent problems like this in exponent form. If you're not sure, though, feel free to multiply 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. Just to be on the safe side. Simplify. 5 raised to the power of 3, divided by 5 raised to the power of 9. The 5 raised to the power of 3. This means that we have 3 copies of 5 on the numerator, and then 5 raised to the power of 9. This means that we have 9 copies of 5 in the denominator. And then simplify. We need to cancel those as the same figures. We notice that there are 3 copies of 5 on the numerator, and there are 9 copies of 5 in the denominator. So meaning we can cancel the 3 copies of 5 on the numerator, and 3 copies of 5 in the denominator. So the remaining is 1 on the numerator, and 6 copies of 5 in the denominator, because we cancelled it out. So simplify again. The 6 5s become 5 raised to the power of 6. So the final answer is 1 over 5 raised to the power of 6. In this expression the base are the same, which is 5, so we can easily subtract 3 and 9, is equal to negative 6. In the rule of the exponent, all negative exponent will put to the denominator so that we don't have a negative exponents. That's why our answer is 1 over 5 raised to the power of 6. Note: if you apply the subtraction rule, you'll end up with 5 raised to the power of 3 minus 9 equals 5 raised to the power of negative 6, which is mathematically correct, but is almost certainly not the answer they're looking for. Whether or not you've been taught about negative exponents, when they say simplify, they mean simplify the expression so it doesn't have any negative or zero powers. Some students will try to get around this minus sign problem by arbitrarily switching the sign to magically get 5 raised to the power of 6 on top rather than below a 1, but this is incorrect. Simplify. 5x raised to the power of 5, divided by 3x raised to the power of 3. The 5x raised to the power of 5 becomes the numerator, which has 5 and 5x's, over 3 and 3x's. Cancel the 3x's on the numerator and the denominator. Since 5 and 3 cannot simplify to the lowest term, so our numerator is 5 and 2x's, over 3. Simplify again, so the final answer is 5x raised to the power of 2, over 3. Other example: this is the same process. The 2x raised to the power of 2 becomes the numerator, which has 2 and xx, over 3 and 5 copies of x. Cancel the 2x's on the numerator and the denominator. Since 2 and 3 cannot simplify to the lowest term, so our numerator is 2 and our denominator are 3 and xx simplify, so the final answer is 2 over 3 raised to the power of 2. Open parenthesis negative 56x squared, y cubed, z, and close parenthesis raised to the power of 0. This is simple enough. Anything raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So the answer is 1. Negative, open parenthesis 56x squared, y cubed, z, and close parenthesis raised to the power of 0. The parenthetical portion still simplifies to 1, but this time the negative is out in front of the parentheses, that is out from under the power of 0, so the exponent doesn't touch it. So the answer in this case is negative 1. 15m raised to the power of 5, n raised to the power of 2, k raised to the power of 4, over 25m raised to the power of 3, n raised to the power of 3, k raised to the power of 4. We can cancel off the common factor in the numerical part of the fraction. Since the common factor of 15 and 25 is 5, so 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. So the new numerical part of this fraction is 3 over 5. We have still more to simplify. Just subtract the exponents of the variables m and k. The exponent of 5 becomes 2, and the exponent of 3 becomes 0, and the exponent of 2 becomes 0, and the exponent of 3 becomes 1. the both exponent of 4 becomes 0. That's why our final answer is 3m raised to the power of 2, over 5n. 21x cubed, y raised to the power of 6, z raised to the power of 6, over 7x raised to the power of 3, y raised to the 4, z raised to the power of 7. Remember, we can cancel off the common factor in the numerical part of the fraction. Since the common factor of 21 and 7 is 7, so 21 divided by 7 is 3, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. So the new numerical part of this fraction is 3 over 1. We have still more to simplify. Just subtract the exponents of the variables x, y, z. The both exponent of 3 becomes 0, and the exponent of 6 becomes 2, and the exponent of 4 becomes 0, and the exponent of 6 becomes 0. The exponent of 7 becomes 1. That's why our final answer is 3y raised to the power of 2, over z. Note: anything raised to the power of 0 is 1.